Ned, how good is it to be back at Kauffman Stadium?
It's good. It's been a long week. I mean, with all the All-Star festivities and going to Chicago and playing a split doubleheader and then a 13-inning game and a great game yesterday. It's nice to be back home.
I don't know, maybe satisfying is not the right word, but how satisfying was it to come out of Chicago with the success that you guys did have?
Well, it's always satisfying when you go in to a city like that, take 3 out of 4, especially as well as we played yesterday against Kris Medlen. They put the at-bats, the defensive display that the boys put on the field yesterday was spectacular.
Yeah, you got an interesting week this week. You've got Pittsburgh in every 3. You have to fly to and from St. Louis, and then you've got the Astros in over the weekend. How much pressure does that continue to put on your pitching staff?
Again, we play, I think it's 18 games in 17 days, right out of the break, and it definitely puts pressure on the bullpen, especially when you start with a split doubleheader. That's going to affect your bullpen, for a couple of days. And thankfully, Danny Duffy went out and pitched the game of his life yesterday, 8 strong innings of shutout baseball, and allowed us to get through that game, giving everybody in the bullpen a break. The only rested guy we had down there was Joe Blanton, and he came in and got the save. So a day's rest helps, to get everybody back on track. But it's going to be, a bit of a grind here through these 17 games.
Years ago, you and Pittsburgh were in struggles, and yet now 2 of the best 5 in baseball record-wise. Do you see parallels between the 2 organizations or teams right now?
Well, we both kind of built our organizations the same way, with homegrown talent, patience, letting the kids develop, and really good drafting, really good player development, special players on the field. So, I mean, their pitching's outstanding, their starting pitching's really good, their bullpen's good, they're a very solid team, offensively and in the infield and outfield. So you see some parallels there, you sure do.
Can you talk about what it means to you guys to have Kris Medlen on the roster now?
Well, again, it just, he's worked so hard to get back. Second Tommy John surgery, he's gone through the rehab. It took him a year and a half to get through it, and he just provides depth down there. A guy that is a really, really good big league pitcher. When Bobby Cox called a couple weeks ago checking on him because Kris was always one of his favorites, and the year that he had his rookie year in the big leagues was phenomenal. So he's got what we call pitchability. He commands the baseball well. He changes speeds extremely well. He's a nice guy to have down in North Bend right now.
With the guy that's coming back from a second Tommy John, being at the bullpen I know can be irregular a little bit. You never know when you're going to have chances to use a guy. How do you have to manage that, or do you at this point?
Just when the opportunity exists, we'll pitch him. He's built up to go 100 pitches, so he can go long. He can go short if the time gets a little too short, too long in there, in between starts. He's a guy that we feel is going to come in and throw strikes. He's got experience, so the thing that I don't try not to do too much is worry about it, because those things always have a way of figuring themselves out. We just have to get there and see how it's going to go. A testament of the job that Dayton's done in the winter is providing depth for us, so that when things happen, we feel like we're able to cover it. We got Dyson and we got Paulo Lando who have stepped in nicely and handled that position while Gordy's been hurt, and will continue to do so. We've got Chris Young and Medlen now, and Franklin Morales that Dayton signed later in the spring to get us to where we are now. So we feel like we've got enough depth. If something happens, we can cover it.
Ned, what factors do you weigh when you're deciding who stays in the rotation and who doesn't?
We're just looking at performance mostly. There's a lot of issues here that we have to decide through. We've actually got 7 starters now if you count Medlen. But then again, you look at what Ventura did last year, what Guthrie did last year, and what Duffy did last year in September. They were arguably our 3 best pitchers. So we just have to go day to day again, try not to worry about it too much, and see if it works itself out.